officer who fired at the suspect will receive counseling, and he is on paid administrative leave, which is standard protocol in a situation like this.
Because what he just went through was extremely traumatic, and unfortunately, just within less than a minute of the officers arriving, this female was killed. And the officers did everything they can to intercede, but it was very apparent that this male suspect was determined.
And then Chief Dyer said he was determined to kill the woman. Paramedics performed CPR on both, and officers performed CPR on the woman and the suspect, but it was too late. Both died at the scene. Police say they recovered a butcher knife, a 10-inch long butcher knife, believed to be the murder weapon. The child who was thrown out the window is reportedly doing okay. And we will continue to update you on this story as new developments come in.
We've seen plenty of days warmer than this so far this year, but they haven't felt so hot and sticky and uncomfortable. Team coverage of the valley heat and humidity. We're looking at a live picture. We were from our KC24 Skycam. But as we continue, Chief Meteorologist AJ Fox will be joining us in the studio with a look at the sticky conditions. But first, Meteorologist Justin Sacher joins us live to explain the effects of this humidity. Justin.
Well, Stephanie, when it's a dry heat, your body sweats and then it evaporates and you feel cooler. But when it's sticky and humidity outside, you still sweat, but the whole evaporation process is much less efficient. And that's why it feels so much warmer and sticky and very steamy outside, just because it's humid. Now, scientists can measure humidity using a very similar concept, and what I did is I made one of the classic instruments here. It's a homemade version of a sling psychrometer, and what it is a thermometer with some gauze around it, and we're going to measure the evaporation of the water from the thermometer here. I've got another one here, and this is one we're just keeping regular air temperature, and you can see they're both just under 100 degrees at the moment. So I'm going to put the regular one down and get out the water here. And this water has been left out through the day today, so it is the same temperature as outside right here. So we're not looking at much of a temperature difference right now. But now comes the fun part. The sling psychrometer, it's been replaced by digital equipment in recent years, automated weather stations, but meteorologists will still take this kind of equipment, of course not the homemade kind, but they'll still take it to more remote areas, like up by fire lines if you're doing forecasting for wildfires. And that's the sling part of it right there. And the temperature cools dramatically right here. If I were to do it a couple more times, I would get this all the way down to the what's known as wet bulb temperature, and that's because this thermometer bulb is wet when you're measuring the temperature. So the difference between these two is the wet bulb depression, or the wet bulb difference, and there's several equations you can use to come up with what the relative humidity is, what the dew point is, and you combine that with pressure, or you use a handy-dandy little table to look at the difference. And right now, it feels like 100 degrees outside, even though the temperature is just about at 100 degrees, according to our homemade sling psychrometer. Live in Fresno, Justin Sacher, KC24, your local weather authority.
How interesting and fun to watch, too. We continue with team coverage on the heat and the humidity.
AJ Fox is your weather authority and has a look at the sticky conditions that we've been dealing with. AJ.
Yeah, and it's real sticky. And Justin was we're pretty accurate with that. The heat index is the same as the temperature right now, and that's the official word from the National Weather Service. So our technique is good. Let's take a look at our satellite picture, which shows some clouds and some rain.